आप YouTube वीडियो देख रहे हो, you may spend 100 hours learning social media, but when you go to an interview, the guy will just stare at you saying, कहाँ सीखा? बताओ, right? You have no proof, right? So we add assessments. Once you complete assessments, you get certificate. It all stacks up. You keep getting badges, certificates, coins, which all ultimately help you get a job, right? So there are more than 1,000 employers who hire directly from us.
Welcome to the Lalith Dhanush Show, and today I have with me a very special guest. He's the founder and CEO of CareerNinja, and I'm super excited because they're doing a bunch of exciting things, and Shronit himself has gone through a lot through the education system, and we'll find out more about his story, the platform, and what he has in store for India. What's up, Shronit? What's happening, my friend?
Hi Lalith, awesome to be here. Thanks for this opportunity. What's up? A lot of interesting things. We're adding a user a minute, so that's what's up. Our servers are breaking. So if I get interrupted while we're doing this chat, then that's what's up. Yeah.
Nice, man. I like how you started with the metric, and I'm sure that kind of metric is something that we all keep chasing. But so I want to understand, can you explain to the audience watching in simple terms, what problem does CareerNinja solve?
Sure. So our latest product is LearnTube, and what problem it solves is आप YouTube video देख रहे हो. If you're watching this also on YouTube, right? You don't know what to watch next. Let's say you're trying to learn social media marketing, and you watch one video. You don't know what video is next. You don't know what else is there. When do I finish social media marketing? Where do I start? So we add structure to learning on YouTube. Second is you may spend 100 hours learning social media, but when you go to an interview, the guy will just stare at you saying, कहाँ सीखा? बताओ, right? You have no proof, right? So we add assessments. Once you complete assessments, you get certificates. You get the certificate. So we solve for proof. And third is, with all the learning that you do in LearnTube, it all stacks up. You keep getting badges, certificates, coins, which all ultimately help you get a job, right? So there are more than 1,000 employers who hire directly from us, and that's where we want to see you go.
Man, I have a quick question. In terms of what you've done, I feel it's such a simple problem to solve, but yet a hard problem to recognize. How did you stumble upon this idea, dude? Like, from one entrepreneur to another. It's quite fascinating when you could see something so in front of your eyes, and you see somebody actually solving that problem. Where do you find inspo?
So we actually stumbled upon it, right? Like you said, we were selling cohort-based courses. So we always believe that there's enough content in the world. It's just not easy to apply, or you get a doubt and you get stuck and you don't have someone to ask. So we used to put this YouTube content together and then do live lessons on top to help you apply it and to help you sort of complete a well-rounded course, right? And learn, like, be practical about it. So, but what we realized is, even the people who would buy our course would first start learning on YouTube, then see if they actually need something, then see if they actually like that subject, and then a small segment of it would go on and buy. But the large chunk of people would not want to buy, maybe because their problem was solved, maybe because they just needed some part of the content. I know social media marketing, but Facebook changes algorithm. तो अब क्या मैं करूं, right? So they just wanted a small micro skill, is what we call it. So we said, okay, if that's what 90% of the world wants, let's make that easy for them, right? So we actually stumbled upon it. That's where most people are. That's what most people want. So why are we forcing a new app, a new product, a new way of learning? Why don't we just make the existing way of learning easier?
Damn, man. I must say it's such an impressive idea. And I think it works really well on a large scale metric, because at the end of the day, YouTube is accessible to anybody that has a phone. and all that they have to do is now put that knowledge to test and action, and now they have a course and a certification that complements and validates what they've done. I think that's a phenomenal idea. What's the kind of success rate that you guys are having right now as we're speaking? You said one subscriber per second.
A minute for now, hopefully a
A
second by the time the video launches. But anyway, so actually one more cool thing, right? So we said, okay, YouTube, everyone knows. In India, everyone's also always on WhatsApp. So we turned WhatsApp into a learning platform. So if you sign up on our platform, you'll get your next video on WhatsApp. You can do your assessments on WhatsApp, MCQs, everything. And you'll even get your certificate message to you straight on WhatsApp. So you don't even need to go to any app, right? So where we are is we are at about 2.2 lakh users. This is in just about 5 months of launch, and with very tiny marketing budgets. We're an early stage startup. We like to keep things frugal, but we have organic users from another 24 countries. We've only marketed in India. And we're seeing awesome completion rates. We're seeing completion rates 5 times of Udemy's best courses.
Wow.
Right?
Why do you think that's happening?
And one more thing. So these are unpaid guys, right? Learning is free on YouTube, on LearnTube. Only certificates, etc. are paid. So unpaid user learning on their own, yet having an awesome completion rate. That's because learning is easy, right? As you said, everyone knows how to use YouTube. Everyone knows how to use WhatsApp. Second, you see yourself going towards an end goal, right? As I said, we're built towards an outcome. If Lalith wants to be, product entrepreneur and he wants to learn product management next, we'll make sure Lalith sees himself getting towards product management with every skill and every lesson that he does. And yeah, we'll sit on your head until you do it, right? The WhatsApp bot will keep running behind you until you actually learn, just like your tuition teacher.
True. I have another question popping in my head. Now, how do you guys make money if this is becoming free? What is your revenue model like? Where is your sweet spot?
Sure. So see, learning's free because it's free in a way for me, right? The content doesn't cost me, and that's why I don't want to charge people for learning. I think we're ultimately a for impact venture. We want to help millions of people learn. We want to be in the most rural place of the country and make opportunity available to the guy sitting on the farm, right? But yes, it does cost us money to do all of this. So we charge for certification. Certification costs you some money. Or if you want placement support where you get interview training and CV reviews, etc., we charge for that.
Wow.
And there are also live workshops that we do every week, which we charge for. But the beauty is you pay once and you get everything, right? So if you pay an X amount for our subscription, for 1 year, you get unlimited access to all the 200 plus courses, all the certificates. So it's a buffet. It's pay once, eat what you want, learn what you want, get certified how much you want, right? So it's again very accessible.
So it is like a Skillshare or a Udemy where you can buy an all access pass, and once you have the all access pass, there is like another additional upsell for anything specialized that they want from there. Is it like that?
So there are 3 all access passes. There's one which is below $1,000, accessible to all, 1 year access to all courses and certificates.
Okay.
There's one which gives you access to that plus live workshops, right? That's LearnTube Pro Plus. And then there's LearnTube X, which gives you all access to the live workshops, the certificates, the courses, and placement support. So everything is all access. Okay. We don't want you to worry about. See, the emotion we don't want in people is, यार एक और चीज पढ़नी है पर इसका वापस पैसा लगेगा. We don't want money to be a hindrance more than once for anyone who wants to learn more.
So this is a product that only has to keep getting new customers every single time, and there is no what is the retainer here? Where do you make more money apart from just the increase, like, annual renewal or something? Is there anything else that you make money off?
Not yet. In the future, we'll obviously see if we can make money out of the placement side, because we'll be catering to large volumes of people, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
obviously, we'll be looking at integrating with job platforms. We'll be looking at integrating with ATSs, etc. Once we have millions of people learning on the platform, and we have data on those people, so that's even better for our users, right? If I can even suggest you, okay, if you're learning these things based on your past experience, these 4 jobs at these 3 companies, you seem well fit for, right? Today, your learning data lies in a different bucket, and your job data lies in a different bucket on a job platform.
Correct. Very
So we look at it
interesting,
as extensions of experience, right? And if we can make money out of it, great.
man. I'm quite fascinated. And what are some of the metrics that you really want to achieve in the next 5 years, let's say, as a young startup?
So, 2 things, right? If you ask me as a startup, I'll give you something different. If you ask me for myself, it'll be different.
Give me both.
But I think, awesome. So I think 5 years is a long enough time. Very simply, what we do, and just for the sake of everyone who's going to be watching this, what we do is we turn YouTube and internet's content into courses. So there's 2.6 billion people using YouTube every month. 2 billion of them are learning something on YouTube every month. That learning doesn't have structure, doesn't have proof, doesn't have an outcome. We solve for that. So in 5 years, hopefully we would have catered to at least 25% of those 2 billion people. So we'd love to be at a 500 million mark, building a global product. We're in 25 countries. We'd hopefully want to be in at least 70 by then. And yeah, hopefully return a decent size of money back to our investors.
That's nice.
And our early employees. Yeah.
I want a little jump into more of who you are as an individual, some of the
Sure.
challenges, some of the success stories, possibly a few people that you've met that have changed your life and incidents. So I think that's where the real juice in the story lies, and I think
Of
that
course.
makes the whole conversation much more interesting. So Shronit, tell me about a time maybe in the last few years, or even through your college life, that one moment where you realized that you were meant for something absolutely big.
I don't know this one moment. I actually don't even know if there's a moment that made me believe that I'm meant for something very big. I don't even know if I am, but I just like to try, right? I love challenges and I like setting goals, right? So one of my favorite quotes, just for context, with one of my teachers that told me one day, was that if you don't have a goal on the football field, you just keep running around, right?
True.
So same with life. So, but one of the first things that gave me confidence that I can do something is, and one person who changed my life, because you said that, was when I was preparing for the IIT entrance exams, and I decided that this is not what life is about. I'm just studying 14 hours a day. I think there's more to life than just studying, and I dropped out of the prep. And I just then went to the state engineering prep. And the person who I went to for tuitions, when he came to know about me dropping out of the IIT prep, said, "You're an idiot," right? And these are nicer words I'm using, right? And you're just wasting your potential, right? Those 2 things really changed things in my head. And I was like, okay, I'm going to prove to this guy that I will yet do very, very well, but enjoy the rest of my life, read the books that I want to read, go swim every day, hang out with friends, explore this world that you come out into once you get out of college. Right? And I ended up topping Maharashtra State. I ended up scoring a 199 on 200.
That's crazy.
And I did all of that, right? So, and in fact, I wanted to prove it. So I'd even thought that if I end up doing this, I will have my headline in the newspaper saying that this guy slept 8 hours, swam every day, hung out with his friends, and yet studied and managed to do this. So I want that to be important, not the rank 1 to be important, right? But that definitely gave me confidence that if I set up a goal, I'll at least get somewhere close to it.
Makes sense, man. And I think when you start looking at life a little differently, you soon realize that it's more than just a number. Like, you do need a number as a guiding force, but it is not everything. I think
True.
one of the biggest things that I feel is just wrongly told to the world is the hustle culture. I feel it's building such toxicity in the minds of people. Yes, you got to hustle, you got to work hard when it matters most. But what also matters on the other side is for you to truly enjoy the fruit of your hustle. Like, for you to take a moment off to reflect whether you're moving in the right direction. Because I remember one of my mentors telling me, listen, just because you're going fast doesn't mean you're going in the right direction. You could be going absolutely in the wrong direction as well. And to have those reflective moments, to enjoy the sweets of life, you gotta take a pause. You gotta come out of that hustle. What's your take on this? And have you been caught up in it?
So I don't know, man. I think I'm a big believer in hustle culture, with context, right? Why are you hustling? What is that you want? I don't think, or at least my life's not told me that anything comes easy. So I don't think things come easy. Right? So if you really, really want something, you got to hustle, you got to work hard, but you need to know why. That's what I mean. Right? So I'm a big believer on, yes, high speed, but actually not high speed, but high velocity. Right? Velocity is speed with a direction.
Yes.
That's the same difference between running on a field and again running towards the goalpost, or passing to your friend again so that you get towards the goalpost, right? Whatever helps you get towards there. Have fun while playing the game, train super hard, enjoy the game, right? And the people around you, and obviously try to win it. If you don't, you'll at least have enjoyed the game and you would have trained hard, so you would have learned things. That's my sort of belief, at least, let's say, in the first half of life.
I also feel what I'm trying to bring in the conversation is working hard does not mean you're hustling. Because I'll tell you a couple of examples that I feel relevant to my statement. I have seen a bunch of people, especially in Mumbai. I'm not from Mumbai, right? I'm from Bangalore. And I feel Mumbai is on steroids all the time, right? It has its own vibe, energy. It's running at a pace that no other city is running. Now, there's a very common characteristic in Mumbai that I've seen, especially the youngsters. They go all the hell out, yes. And while they're going all the hell out, the exit point of that hustle is a very toxic point. For example, you're taking so much baggage back home. You're not sleeping on time, you're not eating on time, and more than anything, you somehow feel it's a race. And when I'm in Mumbai, I feel I'm on a race. I just don't know why. But people who are born in Mumbai and meant for that hustle, I feel, are in a marathon, and not everybody can run that marathon. So even in marathons, you got to have a sip of water, you got to take a break, and you got to pace yourself. I feel the word pace is what is very important. And you said velocity, which I think has to interject at some point of time. What do you think?
True. So three things come to my mind with what you're saying, right? First is working hard and doing the hard work are different things, right? So I would ask people to look at this a little differently. Do the hard work, the work that is actually hard, the work that's actually challenging, the work that's actually keeping other people up at night. But work smart, right? Know yourself. If I know that I can work 7 days a week and I don't need time off, but at the end of the month, I will need a weekend off. At the end of 3 months, I will need 4 days off, where I will be in the middle of nature, or I will be doing a physical activity, which is what helps me rejuvenate, right? So I know this about myself. Now, if I don't keep that in mind, or if I don't pace myself, my pace is 2 days every 30 days, right? So I know my pace. I need to keep that in mind. If not, then yes, I'm just then I'm doing donkey work. It's not even hard work.
True. Have you been burnt out? Like, I mean, if yes, then how do you deal with it? What's your way of working through it?
I have been burnt out. I think it's good to get burnt out early in life so that you can you know when you get burnt out and how to pace yourself after that. It's like, first day you go to run a race and full josh mein you go and you keep running, and then you straight realize that, oh, I'm done and I can't even get back and I don't even know what to do now.
True.
Right? And then 3 days you're lying in bed.
True, man.
But if you're doing a marathon, then you need to know your pace. You need to know how much you can push yourself. So yes, I have been burnt out. My solution to things is always, for me, it's travel and it's swimming. Right? Swimming is my meditation. Travel is my rejuvenation. So I got most burnt out when I was leading AIESEC, AIESEC Bombay's chapter. I was president in 2014. This was while being in college. This was while doing a bunch of other things. I used to work 18-hour days, right? So after a year, obviously you're going to get burnt out. In that year, you manage. See, I also feel burnt out is about ownership. If you really feel for what you do, if you really feel the ownership of what you do, your burnout will automatically get pushed or decrease. But obviously, you will get there. So I was burnt out. I went on a 3-month teaching. I didn't teach in this internship, but I went on a 3-month internship where
what
I was interning. So I went to Brazil. I was interning over there in a not-for-profit which ran a school and a charitable trust and old age home, etc.
Quickly, give me a couple of lessons that you learned from Brazil, like something that like really shook you up.
Oh, Brazil changed my life. Those guys know how to live, so they taught me how to live, right? So in India, not just in Bombay, you're yet all about work. Work is your identity. Work defines your life. Work is your metric of success. It's not. Your life and how well you're living it is your metric of success. Yes, you may need money for it. Yes, your work may give you a large amount of that pleasure. But it's just amazing. I have seen beggars and rich people getting out of Rolls Royce, partying on the street in the same party. The streets are just cordoned off. It's Thursday night, not even Friday night. It's a square. Streets are cordoned off. No cars allowed anymore. There's a DJ that's come up. There's like the way we have Gola carts. They have these cocktail carts that have turned up, and it's a party. And there's literally a beggar wearing a sack dancing next to a girl in a Gucci dress, right? And it's all chill. Everyone's just there to have a good time. And these same people, yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's such deep perspective, isn't it? Like, and especially when you're a young kid, it's a paradigm shift. Like, it's a monumental shift, and I think that perspective drives you further and gives you more clarity in the way you have to live life.
Definitely. So it just put things into context as to the why, right? The why came out of it. Okay, I know I have to work hard. I know I'm gonna do either a good job or start up something, and I gotta make some money. But why, right? What do I need from it? And ultimately, I realized wealth is about buying freedom of place, freedom of time. So freedom of being where you want is, according to me, was freedom of place. Freedom of doing exactly what you want with your time. And the health to be able to do all of that. Makes right sense. Now, all of this is easy to say when I'm yet not doing my best at it, but at least it gave me some direction, some purpose, and it also set that all of this is doable. These guys came to work at 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning, right? 4 p.m. you would see people on the beach on a weekday also kite surfing, just laying there getting a tan, or 6 p.m. going for a dinner. 10 p.m. these guys are in bed, unless it's a Friday or Saturday night, then they'll party till 6 a.m. in the morning, right? So
Nice.
just very clear that, okay, if I'm working, I'm working. There's no 30 minutes mein chai break, 45 minutes mein sutta break. Right? I'm getting my shit done and I'm out of here, and then I'm getting my life done, in order, and I'm off to bed.
Yeah, man. Like this, I can say can be such a instrumental experience in your life. And speaking of which, I think some of the other moments that are really instrumental in shaping you up are the toughest times that you have. Like they say,
True.
tough times are a test of true character. Tell me about this one time in your life, irrespective of professional, personal, whatever it is, that you were really challenged. Like you were this close to the worst thing that you'd ever seen in your life, or the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. What's that moment, and tell me more about it.
There are a lot. There are a few which happen probably every month, right? In terms of challenges.
One or two that tops the list, like in your entirety of your life.
So I'll pick two. One's work, one's not as much work. So one was a let's say, inflicted challenge. So I was always horrible at sports, right? And there was one place I didn't have confidence of at all. Like I remember in school, I'm going to kick a football and my legs gone over the ball and the ball's rolling.
So you were the typical nerd kid.
No, so I had asthma as a kid, so I didn't go to the field that much. There was a lot of dust on the field, so my exposure to sports was always limited.
Makes sense.
Right, so that's why this was literally the first time I went on the football field. This was probably 5th standard, when I was doing better, so I could go. Everyone's obviously been playing football since they were probably 5 or whatever, 6, 7. So yeah, so that was extremely embarrassing, and it was always in my head that hey, sports not that good. So I took up this challenge that I'm going to do a triathlon, right? I was good at swimming, that was the only thing, but I'm horrible at running, very average at cycling, but cycle chalana aata hai because sikha diya tha papa ne, that's it, right? So I was like, it has to be a challenge, we'll do a triathlon, and let's see if we can make that happen. So it was self-inflicted because I know I yet have some element of asthma. I know I have flat feet. I know bunch of things, right? I had never ran more than 4 kilometers in my life when I decided this, and I'd never trekked more than one place. So I was like, karenge, and obviously it was a very painful challenge. It was 9 months of training, and my trainer said, nahi, karenge to Ironman karenge, right? Half Ironman karna hai to, but just for everyone's context, half Ironman is 2 kilometers of swimming followed by 90 kilometers of running followed by 90 kilometers of cycling followed by 21 kilometers of running, all supposed to be done back to back within, I think, an 8.5 hour cutoff time. Right, so imagine your entire work day without your chai breaks, where you're just running or doing some activity, right? That's basically what it is. So yeah, that was a very big challenge, to get up in the morning, to train 20 to 30 hours a day. I have cycled from Bombay to Lonavala in the heat in October, right? With all those ghats and climbs.
Whole episode.
This was in 2018. I did it in October 2018.
Shronit just David Goggins this entire thing. Oh?
Sorry?
Have you heard of David Goggins?
I have actually not. I'm going to look him up.
Dude, so there's this crazy military guy who he was really fat, like fat as fuck. He was the laziest bum on earth, and he got into the hospital, and he had a nearly death kind of an experience, and he decided at 22 that he's not going to live that way for even a second in his life. And today he's known to be the hardest like motherfucker on the internet in terms of a soldier, and he has the Guinness World Record of the most number of pull-ups done by any human on earth. I think it's about 3,000 pull-ups or
Wow.
something like that, right? And he lives in just like between a 0 to 100. He's always 100. Like he lives 100. There's no 99 in David Goggins' life, and he's one crazy
Wow. Okay.
motivational speaker. Like Kobe Bryant, like Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kobe for that Mamba mentality, right? So David Goggins is for that assassin kind of mentality. So you got to check him out.
Definitely. I may have actually come across him, but just not registered who he
The
is.
bald
But this
guy,
sounds very interesting.
the bald guy. He has a very strong tone, accent. I don't know if you, but he's been there on
No,
the internet for
definitely.
quite some time.
We'll look him up. I think there's always a lot more to learn, and you always need reminders of all of these things, right? We all sort of know these things, but a reminder always helps you get back.
Yeah, true. Man, speaking of which, I think that physical challenge that you took for yourself reinstored a lot of faith, self-belief that you would have never ever thought you would get, right? Because now you've never taken a challenge that way, and once you conquer that challenge, the sweetness of that self-belief is just sublime. It's beautiful, and I think you become one with yourself. That's when I think self-love really kicks in, right? You're like, damn, dude, like it's like you're high-fiving yourself and walking off and still feeling as happy like anybody else high-fived you.
True, yeah. I mean, it's when life makes you feel like dancing, right? And I'm not even a dancer, right? There's one more thing, and that's a challenge. I can't. I never. I don't know the hook steps. I don't watch much of TV, right? So it's just like you're on the dance floor. What do you have to do? So say, but if life makes you feel like dancing, that means you're doing something right.
What was the other challenge that was the toughest? You said you have two. You said one was the physical thing. What's the other?
So the second one was with while building CareerNinja itself, right? We'd gone to raise. We were trying to raise our first round, and we thought that we'd done a decent amount of work and we had a great idea, and we'd seen hope from these few investors in the start that yes, we're going to commit and we're going to write a check, and had come down actually to Bangalore itself for that one last meeting just to close things, and they just said no.
Oh,
right? No clear reason. No, in fact, right now also, it just makes me pause whenever I think of that. So it's just no clear reason, nothing. We don't think you're doing much. We don't think you're even writing any code. While everything is obviously visible. And no, I don't think we're in, right? And we're out. They just dropped off. And I think that was the most challenging moment of my work life, at least, because here we are, almost running out of money, almost running out of all our savings, having worked hard for, I think, a good year or two. And I remember that was one of the few times in my entire work experience that made me cry, right? And I just went back home and I just went, and my sister was in Bangalore that time. She was studying, so she just called my mom saying he's not in a good shape, right? And I went back home and just for 3 days I just did nothing, and it was, and those are the moments that build you, right? In hindsight, but
True.
I just did nothing. I was like, do I even want to do this? Do I not want to do this? This is not going to work. Then you have to battle your own thoughts of no, this is going to work. How can other people tell me it's not going to work? And they didn't even tell me that. They just said no, right?
So what happened after that? Like post the 3 days, did you get? What was like the tipping point for you to get back on track and say, hey, hell yeah, I'm going to do this?
There's a limit. You can just lie in bed. You have to get out. Right? So honestly, you just like, kitna soega? It was literally my brain telling me, ab kya? Kuch to karna padega. And then I was like, okay, I'll give myself, some time. Give myself 6 months to prove, again, to prove it to myself and to prove it to the world that, you can build something. And yeah, we went back, we built something, and we got hit by COVID. And when we were about to raise money again, that stopped. But if you learn with your experiences, and you know that, okay, hey, you can keep going, and the money will come, and the money came.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think this is a very valuable lesson for a lot of young people watching today, because even my startup, when I started in 2018 and 2019, my only objective was to put myself on stage, be a speaker, be a teacher, not to particularly build an entrepreneurial, fundable company. But I still remember when the COVID hit, my biggest clients were colleges and schools, and I had nowhere to go. And that's when you had to ask yourself the big questions and the small questions. And eventually, when you find your purpose, your why, and you take rest. You see, that's where I feel the word reflection comes in a lot. It's very, very important. So, and I feel the greatest answers in life come when you're at a reflective phase and not when you're seeking answers.
True.
Right? Like you're doing nothing. You're noticing a small lizard on the wall, and all of a sudden, boom, you have a thought in your head, right? And now you're good to go. So I just feel at a very honest level, this is required. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And this is preparing. I know for a fact people like you, me, and the people who are watching and who want change towards a position of handling any kind of pressure, stress, and moving forward. Also, tell me what has been the most, what has been the other side of the coin, like the juiciest, the nicest fruit that you've had to taste in terms of success. What is that for you? Like that one moment or that one specific thing that you felt, yes, we can do it.
So that's actually a bad habit of mine, right? I don't pause to celebrate as much. I just always think there can be more, and there can be more, and let's keep running. But there are a bunch. So you're saying from a work point of view?
Anything, personally or work, whichever stands out as number one for you. So it's like, let's say you're the Indian team and winning the World Cup is the goal. What's the closest you've come there?
I think the best memories of mine come not from a, and this is where it gets funny. It's not from a goal, right? Sure, we hit 1 lakh users, we hit like 2 lakh users, we started seeing money come in, we started seeing a great investor, we got more money than we expected from our fundraise. All of these things have happened, right? कि सोचा था इतना रेस करेंगे, रेस कर लिया उसका 3 गुना, right? But if you actually ask me the memories and the experiences, one of my favorites are when we do our annual offsite, right? Sure, it's only possible because we have wins to celebrate, and sure, it's only possible because we have people who believe in what we're doing and who backed us up with their hard-earned money. But it culminates in those 2 days spent where and we're a hybrid team, so we don't even see each other every day. So it culminates in those 2 days when you spend your entire 2 days with the team. You're talking CareerNinja, you're talking growth, you're talking about each other, you're just playing games, you're partying, and it just makes you realize why you're doing this, and that it's all worth it, right? So that's the times. So if connecting back to the World Cup example you gave, I feel when you actually win the World Cup, winning the World Cup will be one of your best memories, but the best memories will be when you just celebrated on the way with your team, or overcome a small challenge and then everyone all got together, right?
True. I think you'll start looking at the journey as the biggest fruit, right? Like now that entire journey towards that World Cup becomes the fondest fruit that you've ever had, and the memory that you carry with yourself, and that possibility which opens up now, like, hey, we've won one World Cup, we can win another, or we can do our own league, we can build our own league, and eventually you just start seeing so many things sprout up, man. So Shronit,
True.
You've also spoken about you being a very adventurous guy. I had a chance to watch a couple of your videos on YouTube. Speaking of adventures, what's the craziest and the most adventurous thing you've done? Like just in a line.
There are a couple. I don't know if I can go on record saying a few of these, but no, not because they may be borderline. Not great advice, right? Nothing, no drunken stories and all of that. But so I have done a night scuba dive amidst glow-in-the-dark plankton, and it was magical.
Wow. Where was this?
This was in Thailand, in this island called Koh Tao, which is a diving island. Just divers there. It was a night dive. We dived in. There's nothing you can see, right? I mean, 5-meter visibility with the torch on your head. And there are these glow-in-the-dark plankton which light up when things move. So when you're swimming, you're leaving a golden trail behind. It literally felt like magic, like you have a wand, like you move your hand and there's like golden sparkles coming out. So we just spent 20 minutes seated, kneeling on the seabed and just doing this, and swimming around just to see that happen.
It's like when you put a kid on a Disneyland tour, right? Like, I mean, you feel so out of this world. It's crazy, yeah.
It was amazing, and I think the underwater world is out of the world because it's just so unlike anything that we see in normal life. Right? The fish is sleeping and getting swayed by the water, and you don't see that.
That's nice.
But I think adventure is very important. It makes you feel alive. It reminds you again about life.
And especially when it has nature involved in it, nothing like it, right? Like, I mean, it just humbles you, because in that adventure, because I feel adventure starts with ego, right? You want to, like, let's say you want to climb a mountain, right? It starts with your ego where you say, I want to actually go get this mountain. I'm doing it in this much time. But as you go in that journey of climbing that mountain, you soon realize that you're nothing, right? Your ego somewhere shatters and the adventure is not just out there, but it's also happening in here. Like, for example, I've had this experience. So every time I go to a forest or a mountain kind of a place, I soon want to say, hey, wow, I want to stay here, drink a warm soup and all of that. But then as 2-3 days pass by, even the little bird that comes and sings without you calling for it becomes so adventurous that you start saying thank you. Your ego crushes out, and all of a sudden you become zoomed into nature. And I think that adventure also is very much required, and that's true adventure for me, man.
Definitely, I think adventure for everyone is unique and different, right?
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel alive, honestly, is in a way, in a way that you are physically involved in it, is according to me adventure, right? So for me, it could be a dive, or it could be surfing, or whatever it is. My requirement of it is that it has to be like a new experience, right? So I keep chasing new experiences. I'm just curious as a person, right? I want to know, what does this feel like, and can I do it? Both two things, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the good part, man. I think that's the good part of life. And then and again, as you start, I feel you start feeling adventurous about things that you have back at home as well. I don't know if you've ever felt this. Like, let's say, like, I've gone through something new, a new experience. Now it opens a new perspective in my head, and now with that perspective and lens, I'm seeing my existing problem back at home. And that's also when you start getting answers to a lot of these ambiguous things that are there in your head. Man, I feel one of those places where you get answers usually when you're a teenager is in a community. And a community plays such an important role in shaping who the hell you are, what kind of people you're going to associate with, and what's your growth trajectory. And one such place that both you and I come from is AIESEC. I know you've been there for more time. I was there for about 7 months, but a lot of what I was there for, I actually achieved. But I'm so happy that there's an organization like AIESEC. Can you tell me, as an AIESECer, how much has HIT changed your life? And then we'll get down into why people should get into it.
Sure. So, I don't think I can pinpoint. ISEC changed my life in a lot of ways, right? I can't pinpoint one, two, or even three. Put simply, I think it's just an amazing platform, right? I think the biggest pursuit or adventure of your life is to just explore what your potential and see how much you can build it, right? If we call it learning, call it growth, call it adventure, call it taking up physical challenges, whatever it is. And ISEC is just a platform to help you, one, make sure that you can do that, and like help make you realize to do that, right? So ISEC taught me how to manage people. ISEC taught me how to get work out of people when they don't even get paid, right? In fact, they pay to come to work. So it's very funny when you go back to see. ISEC obviously taught me what belonging actually means, right? And it taught me to do things with a purpose. The only reason we did things in ISEC was because there was a larger purpose beyond just ourselves. Whether it's the people around me, whether it's this noble cause of peace and people understanding other people in the world, or whether it's the purpose of I will make my city or my country's ISEC the best ISEC. But everyone had some higher purpose beyond themselves.
Yeah. And I feel it's such a beautiful amalgamation of fun, adventure, and most importantly, camaraderie. Right? And these three things are usually what we crave for even in life. Like as you grow successful, you make the buck, you achieve your target, you've helped your society around you in many ways, but you want to share that success with a partner or a bunch of friends who are very close to you. So you want to have your own internal community. Second is adventure. Like call for adventure, especially for every human being, is very strong considering we have phones in our hands and the opportunity to experiences are very high. So I think the call for adventure is also taken care of. I mean, it's something that I just repeated like a parrot in all the colleges that I teach and I talk to students. I'm like, dude, if you aren't a part of a community in your undergrad, you're either not privileged or you're goddamn blind and you're ignorant. It's one of these two things, because you surely want to be a part of the coolest group in college, isn't it? Like, isn't that the aspiration of every child in teenage? And ISEC just gives you that and helps you meet the coolest people in other cities, other colleges, and now the cream of the cream get to associate and feed off each other's brains. Tell me a little bit about that.
True. So very important, like you said, right? Be a part of some community. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be your college fest community. It could be road tracks or whatever of the world, or it could be ISEC. ISEC is awesome, right? It doesn't give you just a community in your city. It doesn't just give you a community in your country. It gives you a community globally, right? I have gone and taught in Czech Republic. I have done an internship in Brazil. Both were because of ISEC. That's not the cool part. The cool part was in Brazil, I went to 27 other cities in the 3 months I was there. Only in 2 cities I took a hotel or a hostel, not even a hotel. I couldn't afford a hotel. But one was the Amazon jungle, because there's literally no one else. And second was in another city where there was no other ISECer remotely present. In every other place, I was hosted. I lived the local life. I traveled the local way. I learned the local language. I can speak Portuguese. I ate the food that they did. I have visited their college canteens and sneaked their ID cards and used it to get a meal. All of that, right? And that's an experience you can't buy. You just can't buy. Yes, you can pay a local travel guide, you can pick up an Airbnb experience, but that guy is not your friend.
True.
Right?
And ISEC is a community where it feels like one global family. So irrespective of the language or not, there's always a sense of purpose which is the same. And now it ties you around with a set of common core values. And now you start seeing, let's say you went to Czech Republic, an ISECer there as close as an ISECer in Bangalore or in Mumbai, wherever you're from. like that person would be as close as any of these individuals would be, and there's already ice broken and the communication becomes easier. I've heard adventures of ISECers that are crazy, like people who've gone to Russia, Poland, and people who are walking down the borders, who got lost, got drunk, and never came back home for 2 days. But I've also seen people change. I think that's the most important thing. Like, I've seen people really melt down to their core, because they had a perception when they went about be staying abroad and doing something, but now they've gone and actually helped a bunch of people from another country who are not related by nationality or blood or any way, but yet found a way to connect to each other, which is the very essence of AIESEC. And I feel as we grow to become a better human being in the form of evolution, I think this is where everything matters, and an organization like AIESEC is just doing that.
True. It's so. I put it very simply. ISEC gave me a home away from home.
Yeah.
In the people, in the city, in the people, in the country. I have seen a lot of India again with the help of ISECers, but most importantly, a home away from home globally in every country, right? You can buy a home. I mean, and you can't buy a home, right? You can buy a house in any of these places, but you actually can't buy a home, right? So, in fact, just after the Ironman, I went back and visited my Czech host family again, and my host sister and everyone, and it was just amazing. It was just felt like coming back home. The warmth, the comfort, the familiarity, and then I went to Slovakia after that, and I just pinged some ISECers, and they said, "Hey, we're doing elections today. Why don't you come by? And then we're gonna celebrate after." And then I joined them at the bar that they were celebrating, and then we went on a walk across the city. They showed me some places, and then we went to someone's house and we did at an after party, and I went back at 7 a.m. in the morning. Right? How do you do that otherwise? So it's just life changing in that manner.
True. I mean, if there's one thing that I wish if there's one thing that I know I missed out on really experiencing, was AIESEC at its fullest, because of my early days. The reason is I joined in my final year, but I knew I wanted to make a few connections. I wanted to do some events at scale, which I definitely achieved. But to be an ISECer, transition into a leadership position, take responsibility and evolve, like metamorphosize, I think that's something that I genuinely missed. And of course, going to another country and experiencing this as an internship. But I did get my chance when I went to Ireland for my master's. But I think going there as an ISECer and living the life and just being there for 2-3 months without having a lot of burden on you and making friends, I think that's truly magical.
True. Leadership roles, because when else is someone going to give you 20 people or 200 people to manage, right? Probably 10 years after. And so that, because you'll never get it early on, it's like a lab to your work life and the people. That's just two things. In fact, I may be in Egypt later in the year, and I may just be doing New Year's with some ISECers again. And this is 8 years after I may have met them.
Nice. I mean, that's crazy, and I'm sure like you've carried great relationships, learnings, and memories from these places, man. Shronit, like when I talk to you like this, this is the first time that we're speaking, but it already looks like we've known each other for quite some time because of the experiences we've shared together.
True, I think, and it's very interesting the kind of questions you ask, because some of these, a lot of these, I didn't know what's coming my way, but it just shows that there is a similarity in how people think, what they're sort of pursuing, their values, as you mentioned. So, and I think that's what helps you connect immediately.
Absolutely, man. Just on a very just on the last wrapping note, I have one question. If there is something that you really want to chase apart from the things that you've been chasing in your career at a personal level, what is it that you really want to achieve? Because usually I ask people what do they want to achieve on a professional front in 5 years or 10 years, but I started out that way this time with the podcast. But I want to know, what is your one personal goal, one self goal that you have, apart from everything that has to do with money, everything that has to do with your growth, the company's growth?
Interesting question. So my personal goal is the ability to choose, or the freedom, right? Which is what I mentioned at some point in this. My personal goal would be that, can I buy the freedom or get the freedom or whatever, to be able to spend like half a day building things that change people's life, and half a day just interacting with people and actively, physically changing their lives, right? Could be by writing a book, which I really want to do. It could be by just solving other people's problems in my network, guiding them, coaching them, helping them, or just in the community that I may be living in at that point, which will most probably not be inside a city if I have freedom of place, right? And just actively contributing to people's lives over there. I think the freedom to be able to do it, and that contributing to others' life includes, significantly contributing to your own family's life, right? Not just being there or, passively be like, हाँ मैं हूँ, or just to talk to, but, significantly moving the needle in people's lives, the ones close to you and the ones unknown to you, would be an amazing place to be at in life.
I think that's a great answer, man, and I for one am looking forward to doing bigger things with you guys. Man, Shronit, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I for one felt like we knew each other for a long time, even though it's our first conversation. I'm sure this has a lot of takeaways, especially about AIESEC, your journey, about how you found out the entire problem and you solved it with CareerNinja. And I feel we have a lot more in store, and we should do an episode part 2 for this, and I'm looking forward to that one. Thank you once again for coming on my show, and I'll see you soon, guys.